So we need to compare the resistance. Now we need to remember the formula. R is equal to rho L by A. So both the wires made up of the same material and same cross section. That means this is the general formula for this particular question. The wire 1 we call as R1 is directly proportional to L. Wire 2, which is equal to R2, is directly proportional to its length. Correct? Rest of the terms are constant.
And rho and A.
Rho and A is constant. So that means if the length is increases, resistance increases. So what is the answer? So phi is having the high resistance. So by this, so these type of question asked the exam. Suppose we have a question like this. So again the formula is R is equal to rho L by A. The same material, same length. So that is resistance is inversely proportional to 1 by A. If the area increases, resistance decreases. Area is directly proportional to, depends upon, here they mention the radius. That means here the wire is a cylindrical wire. It's not a square tape. So that means R is directly proportional to 1 by pi r square. If the radius increases, area increases. If the area increases, resistance decreases. So that's why which wire having higher resistance means 2 mm wire having higher resistance.
Cross section is small.
Yes, cross section is small. That is simply radius is small. So area is small. So the resistance is high. So now for this question, what the answer? Right answer is
2.
For this question.
2. No.
Right now.
5 meters.
And okay, you by got the answer. Answer C is right. Okay, but in your exam, so you read all the sentence. You read the
Then
not changing the
2 meters.
100%. You read all the words. Even though you read a word which wire has low resistance, but you keep in the mind the answer is 5 meters because so you choose the answer. Okay, so this type of mistake we did in your exam. So carefully read the question, because why I say that recently they changed the small numbers. So 6 months back we have one question, a lamp, 100 watts lamp connected with 200 volt. So at the time the answer is one or options. So later they change the 100 watts bulb, instead of 200 volt they say 220 volt. The option, we have 2 options are there, but we have keep in the by got the answers and we choose that.
In this question, you are writing an explanation that resistance is directly proportional to length, cross section area, resistivity. But cross section is inversely proportional to the resistance.
So explanation is a general formula.
No, that one is strictly inversely, no? Cross section.
Yes, in the actually it is not. Resistance is that because it's a general equation. I write that. If you know this sentence, we can able to solve the problem. Now, assume that we have a wire. Okay. So this wire having a resistance RO.
Hello.
Hello.
Again gone.
Yeah, bro.
So now I replace the wire as a induction motor. Okay. We have an induction motor. So in the induction motor, we have a windings. The windings are made up of copper. So indirectly, now instead of induction motor, I say it is a conductor. Okay. This induction motor in the laboratory, in our room, I measure the resistance value by using the ammeter. Value is the same for understanding 10 ohm. Now I keep this induction motor in the Russell pond nearer to the seesaw. During the installation, I measure resistance value 10 ohm. June month, 11 o'clock, I measure resistance value. But it's not a 10 ohm, it's become a 12 ohm. Because at the 10 ohm, is a room temperature, maybe a 40 degrees Celsius. But now I measure the resistance at June month, 11 o'clock, is approximately 50 degrees Celsius. So the resistance value increases, which means what we understand. So if the temperature increases, resistance increases. So that is the concept we keep in the mind. In how much it increases, in what way it increases. That is, to understand this, we need to remember the formula. So that formula is
can you explain this one also? Increasing resistance depends directly on the initial resistance. What is initial resistance?
yes. Oh, yes. So, or we have to find the resistance. We have two formulas. One, R is equal to rho L by A. This formula is applicable for room temperature. And if it is not a room temperature, instead of not a, if we find the resistance for the particular temperature, for several 100 degrees Celsius, 200 like that, means we go to this formula. So this formula to find particular temperature. That formula is called as RT, which is equal to R naught. 1 plus alpha naught T. Now we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 unknown variables are there. Now the T stands for temperature. Okay, T stands for temperature. So that means this is the T stands for example, T is equal to 100 degree. Means R of 100. That means resistance at 100 degree. R 0 stands for resistance at 0 degree. Resistance at 0 degree. 1 plus alpha naught into T stands for 100. So this is the equation to find the resistance at 100 degrees Celsius. So wherever T, we replace the T at specific resistance, the temperature. So now what is the unknown values are there? We need, if we know these two numbers, we can be able to find the resistance at 100 degree. Or if we know the temperature at resistance at 50 degree, 45 degree like this. Now we must know R naught, S naught. This R naught stands for resistance at 0 degree Celsius. And alpha naught is a temperature coefficient for the particular element at 0 degree. These two values are predefined values. That means for copper, already they define one value. For copper at 0 degree Celsius, we have this much resistance. For copper, temperature coefficient is this much. So it's a predefined value. So from the statistics information, from the predefined value, we may find from the data sheet, we may find the resistance for copper. Here I didn't use the word index amount. For the particular element, for copper, we have this much resistance at 0 degree. For aluminum, this much resistance. For understanding purpose, for example, this is R naught is equal to 10 ohm. This is for copper. This is not ideal value. For understanding, I use this number. Okay. R naught stands for, the R naught value is 10. This is the ideal value data sheet for the copper. Now I take here copper wire. Okay. I take a copper wire. I measure the resistance. Here I measure the resistance at 0 degree, for example, at 0 degree. How much resistance will show? Is 10 ohm will show. Correct? Clear? Now, the same wire, Now, in this wire, I connected the 100 voltage. I need to measure the current here. The current is, for example, say, the ammeter is 0.5 amps. And I conduct this test in room temperature. Because in the classroom, we did this experiment. Now we know the voltage and we know the current. We can be able to find the resistance by using the Ohm's law. What is the formula? I is equal to V by R. This is a general formula. Here our objective to find the resistance. So R is equal to V by I 100 by 0.5, which is equal to 20 ohm, correct? Okay. So the same copper wire, the green color copper wire, we measure the resistance by using the multimeter, ohm meter. The resistance is 10 ohm. Now I take this resistance, that wire, and give the voltage and I measure the current. Now the resistance value is 20 ohm. Then voltage 0.5 amps. Okay. Now I put here furnace here. So I put the resistance or wire in the furnace. Now I increase the temperature. At the same time, see, at the same time I give a 10 volt. As from Ohm's law, we need to get the only 0.5 amps. That is already told. Now the temperature increases. So the current is, because for the 10 voltage, the current must be 0.5 amps. But now the 0.5 is reduced. 0.2. Now the Ohm's law is not obeyed here. Correct? Ohm's law is not obeyed because it increases. For example, the temperature of the furnace I keep 100 degrees Celsius. That means we need to calculate the resistance at 100 degrees. That is, we need to find R100. To find R100, which is equal to R0. What is R0? 10 ohm. 1 plus alpha naught into 100.
R0 is how from 10?
Because in the previous, say that from the data sheet, we have that for copper it's a 10 ohm.
It's a constant.
Yes, from the data sheet, I use the word. I will select the value 10.
For the copper, it's always the 10.
Yes, that's not the 10 is a tentative value, but the exact number is not like this. Just now I say that. By using the meter, the ohm meter, I measure the resistance value. Here it is a 0 degree Celsius. So if the resistance value is R0, which is equal to 10. So that value I keep it here. So practically we are not able to bring 0 degree Celsius. So that's why it is the data sheet value. Now you understand this one. Okay. Now we come to mathematics. So in this equation, our objective to find the resistance at unknown temperature. That is R0. This R0 is an independent variable or dependent variable? Is a dependent variable. So it is in the y-axis. Okay. So here we have 1, 2, 3 unknown terms are there. Out of 3, the T temperature is the independent because we need to find the resistance for 10 ohm, 20 ohm, 50 ohm, 100 ohm. So that's why The independent variable is the temperature. So it's a temperature is the here. Okay. Now temperature is 0. If the temperature is 0, what is the value for the copper, or what is the value for the green color wire? 10. So that is here. If the temperature increases, what will happen? So
Current will decrease.
So here, just now we check, we are giving the 10 voltage, we measure the 5 amps, 0.5 amps, so resistance is 20 ohm. So that is increases. So that means if the temperature increases, it is increasing. Correct?
Yeah.
This is happened. This is happened for the green color wire. The green color wire, we have like this. So, for example, now we discuss the green color wire. Now I take here blue color wire. It's also having, for example, 8 ohm at 0 degrees Celsius. If the temperature increases, here the value of the resistance value of this blue color wire is decreases. So how we represent?
No, first of all, we need to know that which conductor it is. Then we can get to know.
Yes.
If it is good conductor compared to the green one,
That's why I say that instead of using the conductor, instead of metal, in front of us we have a different metals are there.
Yeah.
So I pick 3 metals. One, copper. Copper, aluminum, copper, mica, silicon. Copper I use as a conductor. Mica I use as a insulator. Silicon, germanium I use as a semiconductor. Okay, I take these 3 elements. Copper, mica, silicon. Here I put the furnace. Okay, I kept it 100 degrees. Here copper having a property, the temperature increases, it is increasing. The resistance value increases. For mica, if the temperature increases, the resistance value decreases. For silicon, one particular point is increases, sometimes decreases, depends upon the temperature. So now, by using this important thing is, by using this formula, that is R naught, which is equal to the RT, which is equal to R naught into 1 plus alpha naught into T. This is the formula. By using this formula, we may classify the metals or atoms as a conductor, as an insulator, as a semiconductor. See here, here the metal, the temperature increases, it increases. So that's why it is called as a positive temperature coefficient. An insulator having a negative temperature coefficient and semiconductor having both positive and negative temperature coefficient. So based on this formula, the metals are classified as a conductor, insulator, semiconductor. So in your exam, the classifications sometimes the positive temperature coefficient, option A conductor, option B insulator, option C semiconductor. By this way, they may ask the question, and rarely they may have a problems also there. But recently they didn't ask any problem. So we have a concept question. And this is the general formula. We need to remember this formula. I is equal to V by R from Ohm's law. Once you know this formula, we can be able to find the voltage, current, what are out of three. Two things in the question paper they will give. We need to find the third one. And for the DC supply, for a DC supply, power P which is equal to V into I. From Ohm's law, the I we may rewrite as V by R. So that's why the power we have here, one more formula, V square by R. Similarly, the voltage we may write as I into R. So that's why we have a power, we have one more formula, I square R. And energy, it is a product of time into power. So easy to remember, kilowatt hour. So energy meter kWhr. So kW stands for power into time gives the energy. Sometimes we have a direct question by using this formula. So in our watch, we are using some battery in our wristwatch. Okay. So in the wristwatch, the battery capacity is 1000 milliampere hour. Okay. So in our watch, we are putting a small battery. The battery capacity is 1000 milliampere hour. The battery, what is the load for this battery? Our wristwatch. So it's a load. Always load consumes some current. So it's the current is, for example, 1 milliamp. Assume that the wristwatch to the load, the wristwatch means the load. The load carries 1 milliamp. Means how long the battery, what is the life of the battery, or when you replace the battery, how you find that? After 6 months or after 1 year. So how you find that? Now we need to calculate the number of hours lifetime for the battery. So what is the battery capacity? 1000 millihour This is the battery capacity. What is the current rating? 1 milliamp. So it is able to continuously working for 1000 hours. Can you find that number of months divided by 24 into 30, which is use the number of months. So this question asked in that exam. This question asked in that exam is purely simple mathematical question. Even though everyone in our hope most of the people in the Asian countries